vocabulary. It's been a few weeks. Today, on TOEFL Tuesdays, we're going to talk about TOEFL vocabulary. And specifically, we're going to talk about some thinking idioms. Now, this is the first video of idioms I've done. I hope you're interested in idioms because they're interesting. They're really strange things sometimes. And they can be very difficult. If you don't know them, they look like things you should know, but then they just confuse you because you don't actually know the idiom and you're using definitions of words inside the idiom that don't relate to the... you'll see what I mean. First, let's talk about this one. This is about thinking, in a way. Bear in mind. Okay, what does the word bear mean? You might have a couple of definitions in your head, but the least common one probably is something like hold or carry. And it's usually for holding or carrying something heavy. But here, we're using that strange definition of bear, that's hold or carry, as a metaphor. You're holding or carrying something in your mind. Now, if you don't know this phrase and you see it for the first time, you might be stuck thinking about how the animals, bears, relate to the mind, or making other connections and getting a little bit stuck on what exactly this means. Really, it means to remember something specifically. That is, don't forget it. Keep it in your head. Keep thinking about it. And use it when you make decisions. Use it when you think about other things. That is keeping it in your head and not forgetting it, bearing it in mind, or bearing in mind. Okay, next, take into account or take into consideration. Now, this is an idiomatic use of the word take. What do we mean, take? I'm not actually taking anything. Taking into account or taking something. This ST means something. Taking something into account means thinking about it, including it when you do your thinking, when you make your decisions. It adds information to your thought process. Adds information to your decisions, to your thoughts. So, for example, when new businesses hire, or when businesses hire new people, they need to take into account many pieces of information. They need to take into account the new hire's resume. They need to take into account the culture of the company and the culture of the specific person who they are hiring. They need to take into account how much it costs to hire this person and how much they need the position filled. So there are many pieces, many parts that need to be included in the thinking, in the decision. So take into consideration is a little bit more literal because consideration is what you consider. It's what you think. You take it into your thinking. But they really mean the same thing. Next, and our final one for today is my favorite of the three, get to the bottom. I don't know where this comes from specifically, get to the bottom of something. But it implies that the bottom is the most important part. It's like you're digging and you're trying to find something underground and you need to get to the bottom of it before you can understand it completely. This means that you are going to research, you're going to investigate, and you're going to find out the start of a problem, or find out the most important information. Find out why. You're trying to answer a question and you want to get to the bottom of it. For example, if a library, if you hear on the TOEFL that a library doesn't have a book, but the library's computer system says they do have the book. Then maybe the librarian will say, I don't know what's wrong. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. She's going to research it. She's going to find out what the problem is, find out why the problem happened. That's getting to the bottom, and all of those are about thinking and how you think. They're all idioms, which, as we said, can cause problems. We'll talk about more idioms in future TOEFL Tuesdays as I go through more TOEFL vocabulary. But for now, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.